Thanks for watching the only podcast that matters. I'm your host Juan,
And I'm your host, Jean Paul Leek.
and together we are
Rope Break.
Outbreak. Thank you so very much, family. How's every single one of you today? Thank you for all the support and for watching every single one of our videos. Here we are once again to talk about this time the first pay-per-view in 2020 of AEW Revolution. Jean Paul.
Yep.
It was a great pay-per-view, and it took away all the sourness. It took away all the bad taste. It's like, it's like glycerin,
Yep.
from like the stuff that
It
we
was
got.
it was the same color. It was that greenish, bluish color. So yeah, it
Yes,
was.
yeah. If you get that flavor, they drop all the bad, like bad taste in our mouths of Super Showdown. So we're gonna talk about every single one of the matches, every single move, every single outcome, every little thing that happened throughout this show. So before we do that, like I always, thanks for watching and please subscribe. Follow us on social media. We're all the time over there. We're always putting new content. And when you subscribe to the YouTube channel, please hit that bell and also give us a like because that gives the video, higher ranking in the search. And we just want to tell you that we're not bragging about it, but we are doing, putting legit content, aren't we, Jumpo?
Exactly. If you're not watching Rope Break, I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yes,
So
yeah. I mean, watch the XFL, but you know that's trash. So, family, the show started with the buy-in, of course, like that's the AEW version of the pre-show, and we had a lot of video packages hyping all the matches, just pretty much telling stories how the match came about for the pay-per-view. And also, they gave us a match rather than WWE. Sometimes they give you two or three, the matches that don't even make any sense. We got to see the Dark Order against SCU. SCU, the former AEW Tag Team Champions, going to a cult that has been, having a lot of promos. There's a lot of buzz about the Exalted One, and there's a lot
yep.
of rumors. There's a lot of controversies. A lot of gossip that Christopher Daniels might be the one joining the Dark Order. They've been
Yeah.
actually taunting. They've been actually talking to him. Hey, you're a loser right now. You were good. You were never a champion. You never made it big. How about you come with us and we'll make you accomplish everything that is left for you, everything that you weren't able to do it on your own.
Yeah, and like we said, this is kind of being like a parody of the, in WWE with Stone Cold, over there and the Undertaker, and it's like who is, the higher power or whatever they called it. I think they
Yeah.
said the higher power, and
Yes.
then it was supposed to be like Christopher Daniels, but then something didn't work out, and then they were like, oh shit, I guess we'll just make it Vince McMahon. So it's kind of cool. They're like, imitating that story over here, and like you said, they in the beginning it was like, oh, Christopher Daniels was gonna come out with them, and they were like, nah, man, just like it's cool, we got this, just hang out in the back. And he was like, what that, like, he was like offended, but it was like there was just like that tiny little bit of fear in their heads, like, but what if,
Well,
like,
yeah.
like what if he joins with them?
Yes, exactly. So, like I said, it was Stu Grayson, Evil Uno. They come out to the ring with some of the members of the Dark Order, and then
Hmm.
SEU came out without Christopher Daniels. The match went really good. It was, I will say, like what, like maybe 10 minutes,
Yeah,
and
it
then scene
wasn't. Yeah,
one.
it wasn't too long, but it told the story, the action in ring. I feel if you would have gave them longer, they could have been better because all four of these guys are good, even though like maybe personality wise, Sky and Kazarian are a little boring. I feel like Daniels is the most personality wise, but in ring talent, they're really good.
Yeah, I will say the same thing. And like the one thing though, it ended in the most anticlimactic way. But we're gonna go over all the spots right here. But then we guys actually the main stuff of this match of the whole story came out after the match. So we're
Yeah,
gonna go over like the last spots on the match. The Dark Order look for a double team on Scorpio Sky, but he escapes and Monkey flips Kazarian into them with a double lariat. Then the Dark Order minions cause a distraction that allows Evil Uno to hit Sky from behind, and then Stu Grayson pins him for the win. So, like I said, it was anticlimactic because we were like, really, is it
yeah,
done?
yeah. We kept saying like, oh, they're gonna hit the fatality and done, and then
Yeah,
they never hit it. And then I know earlier I think they set up the SCU later, and I was like, really, is SCU gonna win? Like why do they keep like start stop pushes for the Dark Order? But then they got out of that, and like you said, it was just anticlimactic. I know it was the buy-in, but it still could have been a way bigger ending for the Dark Order.
exactly. So after the match, then the minions storm to the ring and then start beating on Scorpio Sky. out of nowhere. But then, music hits, and let's remember AEW took place in Chicago, Illinois. So Chicago's own came out in the
Yep.
person of Colt Cabana.
Look in my eyes. Oh no, not him. Not him.
Not him. He was best friends with CM Punk. But then, of course, like the relationship broke down. There was a lot of lawsuits and stuff like that.
Yep.
He performs now for Ring of Honor.
Backstage politics, and done.
And done. Yeah, exactly. So he came out and he started cleaning house. He started going to try to help out Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. But then also was the thing about the Exalted One, because the Exalted One was supposed to come out, so they teased it.
Yeah.
They teased it.
And we thought, and the one thing that we liked, we were thinking, oh man, like if Cabana comes out and he just goes Roman Reigns on everybody and beats him up, like really? But then he got beat down, and then it was like, okay, good. Like it was cool to see him, but it's legit that the Dark Order is still beating everyone down. And then, like you said, we see somebody come out in a robe, and we were like, oh shit, like it's Matt Hardy. Like delete.
Yes.
And then whoop, throws down the hood, bald head, Christopher Daniels, and then, Taz was on commentary, and he was like, this just proves that Christopher Daniels is SCU for life, and I don't know if that kind of is just supposed to end that chapter in this feud, in the sense where it's like, he's not the Exalted One, and there's no more, like, controversy over that, or if they're still going to play off that angle and he will turn, but I don't think he should be the Exalted One, but like you said, he runs down, evens the odds, and then the Dark Order, they're done.
Yeah, and then like we said, we're still waiting for Matt Hardy. So his contract actually expired today. So as of right now, Robert family, March 1st of 2020, Matt Hardy is a free agent. So if he shows up on Wednesday night, so he can delete his career on WWE, and maybe he'll be the Exalted One. There's a lot of buzz. There's a lot of rumors that he is the Exalted One. You told me even like he put a Twitter 48 hours. Like,
yeah, it's his favorite movie.
Yeah, so he's teasing something. So if he does, Matt Hardy deserves, like, he has done so much for the wrestling business, and he deserves to give us a little more taste of what the broken Matt Hardy, the Exalted One.
He's one of those guys that proves that like a character can still be in wrestling, because that was more like an 80s thing, and then towards the 90s, like late 90s, early 2000s, and even upward, like characters aren't really around anymore. You got guys like Kenny Omega, and it's like they're like they just play video games. You know what I mean? Or like Kazuchika Okada. Like none of these guys, and even over here, Styles, Cena, none of them are really characters.
Yes.
Where like, Matt Hardy, he became a character with the delete, and he has like the little drone that follows him and all that other stuff. So
exactly.
That's like
he was able to create something and keep creating based on that. So I hope that like Matt Hardy gets, to AEW, and he gets treated fairly, and how he should, how the character should be taken to, because the heights that like he was able to do on Impact Wrestling were amazing. So Jean-Paul, main show begins, and we get Dustin Rhodes against Jake Hager. For the ones that don't know who Jake Hager, he used to be Jack Swagger in WWE. Great rivalry.
Yeah, We the People.
We the People, exactly. And the rivalry started back in November when Jack Hager, member of the Inner Circle of Le Champion Chris Jericho, he broke Dustin Rhodes' hand.
Yeah, in the door. Yeah.
Yeah, in the road towards Full Gear. So this whole thing started, and they've been prolonging it until now. And this happened to be Jake Hager's debut in ring, because like all he does is just talks and like, I mean, not even talk, but like just stares at the camera. He became like the bodyguard of Chris Jericho pretty much. But now he had the chance to have a match, and he did pretty good. The match ended up being pretty good.
Yeah, and like the one thing, just a minor detail, we were hoping he would come out in more of a wrestling gear versus like MMA, and he did. It was a little bit like a mix of both, but I would say it was more on the wrestling side than MMA, so that was just like a minor detail that we liked.
Exactly. And also I will tell you that the thing with Dustin Rhodes is like he's still able to produce good matches. He's on the older side as a performer, but he can still produce good stuff, and he's actually pushing all the other AEW talents. So you don't see the backstage politics that like, hey, I want to win all the time, or my character has to look good. He's not all about that. What he wants is just to get the company over.
Oh, absolutely. And this is the thing with him. He knows what he can do. He's not going to go out there and be like, oh, let me do a Spanish fly off the top rope, or let me do this or that. He knows his moves that he can do really well, and he's like, let me work them into a match with you, because he's smart wrestling-wise. He can book a match. He can put a good match together, like as a producer. So he's going to do that with whoever he's in there, integrate his offense, and make the match appear legit. And that's
Yeah.
just, that's just a testament to how good he is. So I agree. Like you said, he's on the older side, but everything he does it really well.
Exactly. So that's the one thing that like you can see with that coming out from this
Mhm.
match,
Yeah,
and
and
the
one of
main
those,
story.
yeah, I
Yeah,
was
go ahead.
just gonna say one of those things you were just about to say. One of those things that he does really well is he's able to tell a story.
Yes, yeah, he keeps it like that, and that happens ever since his debut with Cody Rhodes at Double or Nothing, and and ever since he's been producing good matches. In this situation, they focus also on the fact that Jake Hager's, I keep saying Jack
Mm-hmm.
Swagger, Jake Hager's wife was on in the crowd. It was first
Mm-hmm.
row, and she kept cheering for her husband, of
Yeah,
course.
and what did we say? We like she's gonna play a factor into it somehow, and she did. Goldie got
Yeah, Goldie was able to make out with her,
yeah,
and then
Goldie was
he turned.
legit.
Yeah, and then he got like his face. He uses the face paint, in a
Yeah,
different fashion that he used to do it with Goldust. But he had the face paint over here in the mouth, and she got all covered with all of that. So
because he was just like it was looked more like he was just like rubbing his face onto her face. He wasn't actually
yes,
like making out with her, but it was still legit.
it was a still it was
Yeah.
still a good like aspect of the match. They kind of kept it like comicity,
Hmm.
to a point, but it's still serious enough because like the match itself came out really well, and Jack Swagger was able to produce like the same move that he had in WWE, like the God
Hmm.
Ranch Power Bomb, the ankle
Yeah.
lock, or the Patriot lock, like they used to call him. But see, at the ending of the match, like I'm gonna walk you through right now, he used an MMA submission hold.
Yeah.
See, that was interesting. That was different because we're
Yeah.
not used to
And
seeing Swagger in that fashion.
I actually
Or Hager.
because I didn't know that that was like his new like finisher submission. I thought, like you said, it was just gonna be kind of the same moveset from WWE, but I think that they showed that the ankle lock didn't work, so it was like,
Yes.
oh, that was WWE and that's obsolete. Now I need to go to my new hold, and it was like a standing, almost like a triangle choke,
Yes.
almost, and it was really cool. And I mean, I didn't know it was his finisher, so I thought like, oh, Dustin's gonna get out of this, and then like you said, you're gonna walk us through it, but he was done.
He was done. Yep. And then, right away, Audrey Edwards, like
Hmm.
she called for the bell and everything because he was passing out. So good stuff. Let me walk you through the spots. Rhodes grabbed the arm of Hager and tries to apply an armbar in a revenge attempt, but Hager counters with an ankle lock. Like I said, we all thought that he was going to tap right there. But Dustin fights out of it and rolls forward to escape. Hager almost runs into the referee. He stabs him right next to Audrey, but then turns and kicks Dustin in the crotch. And then Hager grabs Rhodes in a head and arm choke, and which he uses in the MMA. Like we said, he uses
Hmm.
an MMA move, and Dustin is out on his feet. So Audrey calls for the bell. Jake Hager wins, legit, and hopefully, like he starts having more matches now. He's just
Yeah.
not just the bone, the muscle of the inner circle. Like he
Hmm.
can, kind of develop his own character
Yeah,
while he's still in the inner circle.
and I would like to see him just have more matches. I'm not saying wrestle every week, every other week. At least let's see him once a month because there's so many people who they don't feature, and he's one of them who I was fine with them not featuring as often because there's guys who, like I said, we want to see. We make jokes about him, but let's see more Sean Spears. Let's see, we love Joey Janela. He's not quite Otis, but he's got a little belly, and we love the
Keep
belly.
Sabian.
So yeah,
Keep
Kip
Sabian.
Sabian is really legit. Penelope Ford, I agree with Jim Ross. She's never bad to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just so much mid card talent that they don't feature on the show. And like that's really one thing we want to see more of. And like you said, maybe a mid card title. We keep saying it. There's nothing for these guys to fight over.
Exactly.
But
So,
well, when they do fight over good feuds like this, because to me this was a decent feud. I
yeah,
mean, I would have liked to see. I do like the shirt he had. Like I'm here to kick Jericho's bitch's ass or something like that.
yeah. Here's Jericho's bitches. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was cool. Like it's good storytelling, but like you said, there's a lot of superstars that like are like missing out from the pay-per-views, and that
Mhm.
shouldn't be the case.
Yeah.
So we get to see next match, Mr. Leek, Darby Allin, returning Darby Allin going against Sammy Guevara, the
Yeah.
Spanish God. And like he's the best at losing, and we keep saying that he's a great
Mhm.
wrestler, but he never wins any
Yeah.
matches, and when
And
he does, it's
what?
just a match that doesn't make extreme, meaning and dynamite.
Yeah, like I think he beat Dustin Rhodes on an episode of Dynamite, but to me, I mean, with the help of Jake Hager, but I don't think that this match I thought was going to be one of those sleepers that it would be like one of the best on the show, and it really wasn't. There was some, great spots, like, breaking the table on the outside. He did like the legit coffin drop, like almost across the entire length of the ring. It was like a legit match, but it could have been longer, I felt.
It
Like they
could have
could
been
have
a
told
little
more of a
longer.
story. Yeah.
The one thing about we don't know if he's actually, Darby Allin is hurt because he did a suicide dive,
Hmm.
but as he's doing the move, he like his feet got stuck in the rope,
Yeah.
and then the measurement, he almost hits the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Almost hits the floor.
Cause
It was like the
he
distance was this close. So thank God he was okay
yeah.
from that because everybody was like something didn't come out right.
Yeah, because he was like you even said, like when we were watching his suicide dives, he doesn't just do them like a Seth Rollins where they like gingerly fly through the ropes. This dude is like a bullet, and he tries to go like hard and like low.
Yes,
Remember we said
yes,
how low his are. Like he
yes,
doesn't give himself enough like like arch. So that's why I
yes.
think his foot got caught on the ropes and he was almost done.
It could have been a really different situation, but thankfully he was okay from that, and then the match continued. Like you said, they did a Spanish fly out of the top rope, excellent move. Like
Hmm.
these guys, I mean, everybody's now using the Spanish flies because even Charlotte does it, Sammy Guevara does, Keith Lee, Dijakovic, they do it. Like that
Hmm.
move is so beautiful to see. I wish that it would be seen as a finisher,
Hmm.
but because it's so
Yeah.
so beautiful, but then
Yeah,
it's
to
kicked out.
me, the Spanish
Everybody
fly and
takes it.
the Spanish fly and Canadian destroyer should be finishers.
Yes,
Because
and
Dustin
or
hit
like the super kick.
Dustin hit one on Hager.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and he kicked out. So
So that's what we're saying. But in the end, like Jean Paul was saying, Darby Allin gets the win. I'm gonna walk you through some spots in the match. Sammy leaves the ring and grabs the skateboard and tries to hit Allen with it, but gets it with a Canadian destroyer for a near fall. There you go. Canadian destroyer is always there, family. Yeah, like that's right now is like the most generic move in professional wrestling. So it's a near fall. Then Darby goes to the top rope, but Sammy climbs up with him and they fight back and forth until Guevara hits the Spanish fly. Another one, we're just saying it. We're reading the picture right here.
and I
Reading
think
the
and I
picture.
think that before you continue, that's why these matches aren't as good when we watch them. We're like, oh yeah, that's legit. And then 5 minutes later, we're like, so
Yeah,
because we see the Spanish fly every week, we see a Canadian destroyer every week, we see super kicks out of midair every week, we see standing moonsaults every week. It's not impressive anymore.
it's thank you for Rock and Roll Express. Thank you for
Yeah,
the Young Bucks for the super kick fiesta and all of that.
yeah,
So Guevara gets frustrated and removes the top turnbuckle and then tries to throw Darby Allin into it, but Allin blocks it. Then Darby monkey flips Guevara into it, and then Allin hits the sliced bread, followed by the coffin drop. And like you said, the length of the coffin drop was really, really like large. He went like really,
yeah,
really high, and like
yeah.
he almost went across the ring, like you said, because you even told me while we were watching, like, oh, he's not gonna do it right now. He's like he's really far, and actually he did it, and he
Yeah,
nailed it.
and he hit it. Yeah, it's not like a botch where he only hit the top of his head on Guevara. I mean, he nailed it perfect.
Yeah, it was really good, and in the end, Darby Allin gets the win. He deserves that, and
Mm.
like I think he's one of the characters that could be challenging potentially to the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion
Yeah,
John
and you
Moxley.
got to think
Spoiler alert.
they had a hell of a match a couple months ago on Dynamite, the two
Yes,
of them. So
so
that would be something to me. I think they've booked this match. You got to do Pac and Darby Allen, I think,
for the
or
number one
yeah,
contender, for the
yeah,
number
for the
one
number one
contender.
contender. That's what I would do.
It will be good. It will be good to see, and especially because I feel that like right now we will get into it more, but I feel that Jericho is probably going to take a break. I don't
Hmm.
think we're going to see a lot of him because he's been, ever since October, he's been on every single Dynamite. He's been really working on this, so I think this is going to be the break for Jericho. So maybe he could continue his activities with Fozzy. He's going to be touring. We know that.
Hmm.
So I feel that this is going to be a break for him. But before we go to that AEW Championship Tag Team match, Kenny Omega and Adam Hanman Page against the Young Bucks. Probably the best match of the night. And
Yep, I
Jean
was
Paul is
just gonna
smiling
say.
right there. You can see like the white teeth. The courtesy to Colgate is because Adam Hanman Page and Kenny Omega, when it's all said and done, they retain the championships, and they were able to beat the Young Bucks. The
Yeah,
Elite crash in this night, but Hanman Page and Kenny stand tall when it's all said and done.
yeah, and the one thing I like is like we said the video package that they had for this extremely legit. They showed like an interview which it might have been shown before on their YouTube channel. I haven't seen it. It's Kenny and Hangman. They're backstage. They're like being or in an interview setting. They're sitting down, and they're saying how like, oh, do you trust your partner? They're talking to Kenny, and then Hangman's like, this is a bullshit question. He's like, I'm done. And he gets up and walks away. And Kenny's like, where are you going? I was going to say I do. And he's like, but I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. And it was just like, really getting the hints in there. And you thought, oh, like, what everybody was saying. Everybody's like, oh, the Young Bucks are going to win. Hangman's going to turn on Kenny. And that's the one thing I like. I like when fans think they know something. And then the company's like, we're going to do the exact opposite.
Yeah, like they keep it going, like because you and me, we both said it, like no, this is the night that it's gonna go wrong. They're gonna mess up their finisher, and then Hangman is gonna turn to Kenny. Young Bucks become the champion, and there's a feud for the next pay-per-view that it was announced during this broadcast. We're gonna talk about it just a little bit in a few more seconds, but I feel that the match itself told a really, really great story, and like you said, the promo package, like showcasing like the brotherhood, showcasing the friendship, like we've been through thin and thick, or thick and thin, however you want to say it, and they were still best friends, but now there's cracks. There's cracks, and the cracks every day, they keep going bigger and bigger.
Yeah, and what do you think? I mean, I knew it was going to be this way, but the Bucks come out first, obviously, because AEW respects champions. They come out last, and so the Bucks come out, and it was like 50-50.
Yeah.
The boos and the cheers. And then Hangman came out next because him and Kenny come out together. Hangman came out next, and it was a way bigger pop. So you already knew who the crowd was behind. Because like I said it before, the Bucks making fun of him for wanting to leave and having issues with, whatever he's having issues with, personal demons that he's choosing to drink. He's choosing that path to try to recover, and then they're making fun of him for it. So he's like the sympathetic babyface in this all, and they're the assholes. And as this match went on, they kind of had a little more aggressive side, a little more heels. They were just being really angry, beating him down, punching him in the face, and like even I think it was Matt, and then Nick came in and was like, "Dude, what are you doing? You're like ripping this dude's face off."
Yeah. You could see like there's like a little bit of like those heelish tactics or like those heelish tendencies. You can see that. So we're going to walk you through a lot of aspects, a lot of events on the match, because there was one beautiful spot like when Adam Hangman Page did Kenny Omega's finisher, the one with Angel.
Oh, so yeah.
That was really cool. I was like, when you do things like that, that's when, you're starting to tell legit stories. You're doing something out of like the blue, out of different,
Yeah, and how many near falls were in this match? Like, you know what I mean? So how many times where it was like that? When Hangman hit the one-winged Angel, it was done.
Yes.
Like I like how they protect the move, not like as much as like the guy doing the move. Because normally, like, oh, if he did it, they would be like, oh, he kicked out because it was Hangman who did it, not Kenny. But he hit that move, and I forget who he hit it on. But then the other Jackson brother broke it up. There were so many just guys coming out of nowhere, breaking up pins, and that's what makes the match so exciting.
Exactly. So, well, we're gonna go through this, Jean Paul. They hit super kicks to Kenny. Then a stereo one, and it's like double super kick because they love super kicks, the stereo fiesta, the shirt that you love. Before grabbing on an arm each and drilling him with the stereo knees, also like emulating Kenny Omega, but Omega kicks out at one. Kenny didn't sell it at all. He's like, he's hulking up. And then the fans go nuts, and Omega gets to his feet, but Nick hits another knee for a 2 count this time. Matt tags in. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I do like that how he hulked up, like he had that burst of adrenaline, and they're like no, and then knocked him down. It's not like he kept no selling, because then to me that would have been bullshit. He had the one burst of adrenaline and then done.
Yes, and then Mac turns in and he stumps the shoulder of Kenny because that's the shoulder that Pac injured in the match that they had in the last Dynamite, and then Mac takes the medical strap from Kenny, like the kinesio tape, pretty much, before lifting for the Meltzer driver, but Page grabs Nick from the apron and power bombs him through the table. Excellent. Legit. And that table was set up by Sammy Guevara. So that's something that, that's legit, because they something that happened in the previous match, they used it and they incorporated in the match that is currently happening. So Page and Kenny hit the buckshot Larry B trigger combo, but Matt kicks out. So that was like, oh my god.
Bullshit, dude. We were like, this is such bullshit, dude.
Oh my god, it's gonna happen. It's just like, the Bucks are gonna win, but like Omega hits another beat trigger against the ropes, but then grabs Matt for the one-wing angel, but Max escapes and hits a super kick. Page tags himself in, and he leaves Matt up for the one-wing angel. So he hits Candice's move, but Nick breaks it up, like Jean Paul was saying. Hangman is furious and tosses Nick from the rim to the ramp, where he hits the buckshot lariat, and then Page hits one onto Matt also and scores the pinfall. So
Yeah,
great match.
and the one thing I do like is, okay, so Matt kicked out of the buckshot, V trigger, and it's like, oh my god, like this, like what's going on here? But then his like, for if we're talking about in wrestling land here, his head was so injured, he was so beat up, because people are going to say, oh, why did the buckshot put him away, but then a tag team finisher couldn't put him away? It's like, well, you got to think like he has a health bar. That buckshot V trigger took him down to like a sliver of health,
Yes.
and then that V trigger was, or not the V trigger, the buckshot was enough to hit him and done. But Hangman, he was the star of this match. Like as legit as Kenny was, there was the most of the story was on him. I felt.
No, yeah,
And
it was the main story from this
yeah.
is Hangman. Even when they were walking to the back to the gorilla position, like they were working slowly, and you could see how like Hangman also grab a beer from one of the guys in the crowd, and you keep you continue that story, and you see the Young Bucks and Kenny, they're like looking at each other. All right, we're cool. It's over. Like friendship goes back, but you see Paige is like, no. It's like I'm done. I don't want to be.
Because it was and it was that's the thing. Like I blood and guts. We'll see what they do. Because do you want to? I guess we should. Talking about it, get into it. But just this match was so legit. Definitely my favorite match of the night. I feel, and it was like, my boy won.
Yeah, exactly. So and that's why I say you have the Colgate smile right there. And also, like you just mentioned, they just announced the next pay-per-view for AEW, and it's going to be Blood and Guts. It's going to be in March, and it's pretty much War Games. But they're not going to use War Games just because WWE already used that thing for NXT. And although Cody has the trademark for that.
And it's legit in the sense that we don't have to wait 4 or 5 months for another pay-per-view. I don't think this will be as grand as like a Revolution. I don't think that they'll charge $50 for it either. I could see this pay-per-view being a little cheaper, maybe 30, 35, but it's still legit that we don't have to wait, like I said, a quarter of a year to see a pay-per-view. And exactly, I'm excited because there's a lot of feuds
that they need to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of these feuds that like you could fast track and have them be done in a month and have it be legit. A month, or it's probably the end of March. So so like a month or so. But we'll see.
We'll see what they do. But like it's interesting to see that Cody is incorporating the War Games theme into AEW, and I think it's that to pay respect, to like honor his father.
Oh,
because I read in an interview that he said, I don't really make any money with like having the trademarks for Bash at the Beach, all of the War Games, Starcade, all of that. It's like I just do it because it's pretty much my family's inheritance. That's mine. So that's what I go after, what's mine, because that's my father's, and I'm not making any money out of it. It's just I just want to have it because it's mine, and it makes total sense.
Yeah,
because WWE is not making any use of them.
Yeah, he's not going out there like selling Bash at the Beach t-shirts on his Pro Wrestling Tees website or anything. You know what I mean? So he's not making any money. Like you said, he has them just to cherish them, because WWE treats them like it's like a Kleenex. They blow their nose and done.
Exactly. So, Mr. The Egg, it's time for AEW Women's Championship. Nyla Rose, brand new champion, against Kris Statlander. A good match. Yep. I feel that like the crowd, though, the energy was like everybody was so gassed out. They were so tired from Adam Hangman Page and the Young Bucks that this match wasn't as exciting as it could have been.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Go ahead.
In my opinion, from here until like the end of the Cody MJF match and then the main event, from here on till then, to me the crowd was done. I didn't think the crowd. I mean, they got a little bit into it in the Orange Cassidy Pac match, but to me, it was just done.
Yeah, it took a lot of the energy, I said, because that match with like the tag match was so good, and you get so invested in it, so that you need kind of like a break. And unfortunately, the women were the ones that happened to be the break.
Yeah.
But in the end, Kris Statlander is a great performer, great skill. Mm-hmm. The one thing that she needs to improve of is maybe her mic work, her promo work, because during the whole video package that they had, Kris Statlander didn't even say a word.
Yeah, and maybe they're playing off the alien gimmick.
Yes.
And she's like an alien, and maybe I think she spoke before, unless I saw something that was like like a shoot, you know what I mean, where she's not the alien, she's herself, you know. So maybe that's why she was talking, but I don't know. I mean, like you said, it would be cool because at some point that gets boring. Like imagine if like the Undertaker never talked or something. You know what I mean? It's like you can only do that for so long and then it becomes stale.
Yes,
Like
and
you need to
then
eventually talk and cut a promo, and I agree. So I would like to see that at some point as well.
and also like before we go through the spots on the match, like you were saying, it should have been maybe a triple threat. And as
Yeah,
I know I love them,
for you, you know.
but it makes total sense because in this case also there was a Cedric Alexander's wife came out, and it was
Yeah,
supposed to be Big Swole.
yeah.
She was like right there, so they should include it that way. Also, you don't waste this potential better feud that it would have been Nyla Rose and Statlander by themselves.
Yeah, because to me, like I said, Statlander is a woman who she should have the title sooner than later because when she was, you know, I mean, anybody wanted or everybody wanted somebody to just beat Riho. So when she had her championship match with Riho, a lot of people were like, put it on Statlander, put it on Statlander. A lot of
Yes,
people wanted that. So to me, I was like, you know, people should still want that, even though Nyla Rose is the champion. But I felt like it was too soon. I was like,
exactly.
book this towards the end of the year, or you know, at least maybe July, August, you know, sometime around there. Let Nyla Rose have a decent title reign, and you know, which they're gonna keep that going. But I don't know if that it had to come at the cost of Chris Statlander.
Yeah, like to me, like either they need like a woman that is like has more like let's say like audience like recognition, or like they're more popular. For example,
Yeah,
I keep saying like Jordan Grace, I keep saying Tessa Blanchard, maybe
and what
Taya
and what
Valkyrie.
and what did we even say? We said, oh well. And this is because it wasn't a triple threat. We said Britt Baker will come out and she'll cause a DQ or
And
something, and,
nothing.
and nothing.
Nothing. She was hanging out with the Undisputed era and her
Yeah,
boyfriend Adam Cole. So well, the match though,
baby.
the match came out pretty well, and we're gonna go through some of the spots right now. Nyla Rose releases the STF for no reason and looks for a splash, but Statlander avoids it. Then Rose catches Chris with a beast bomb for a near fall. That I thought that was gonna be the end. The bomb didn't look that devastating, but that's her finisher. Then Nyla goes to the top, but Statlander punches her, climbs up, and here's a super sloppy superplex. I remember I told you that looked
Yeah,
kind of like bad.
yeah. There was a
You know
couple
that I
moves.
was
Yeah,
actually that was bad.
yeah. There was a couple moves, and like I said, maybe it's because Statlander's only been wrestling for like 2, 3 years. They said maybe that's the reason why. Maybe these two just don't have chemistry, and they're because they're both relatively young in their wrestling careers, they can't just mesh right away. They gotta maybe get some more time in the ring together. But yeah, there was a couple moves in this match that it was like it didn't look as good. I would say Nyla Rose and Riho had more of like a better flowing match. Like
Yes,
they seemed to
exactly.
work better than these two, but
Yeah, and then she tries to go for a Hurricanrana, but Rose holds on, and then Nyla tries to lift her up for another beast power bomb, but can't get her up, so ends up jumping anyway and hitting a terrible power bomb for the win. So yeah, it was the same power bomb, but from the second rope. So you could
yeah.
see like maybe lack of coordination. You could see like you will see how like Statlander will look behind her, like kind of look for what do I do next. So
Mhm.
the flow of the match wasn't that great, but and in the end, AEW like it's been characteristic. It's been like they're making themselves known for like the women not being as good
Yeah.
as they could be.
Yeah,
So
and
they
I
made a
feel
name
like
for themselves on that.
yeah, and I feel like they're eventually going to get there because they are, even though I talk shit on them on Wednesday sometimes, they are a company that does want to do right by the fans. You know what I mean? They want to do everything for the fans, and like they may not be able to get there right away because it's easy for us to just sit here. I'm turning face here.
Mm.
We'll see how long it lasts, but it's easy for us to just sit here and say, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? And like while they could do some of that as quick as we're saying it, I'm sure some things take time and to get, to where that they want it to be. So I think the women's wrestling will get good at some point, but it's just because it's not as on par, like not even close to the men's wrestling and the tag team that it sticks out.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I can agree to that 100%. And yeah, and that's what it is. It's just like it's a work in progress. Like you said, we can say all these things, but we don't even step our foot in the ring.
Yeah.
So we can run our mouths all we want, but we just say like we want this to improve. So it's just
Exactly.
it's constructive criticism. It's not talking crap. It's not diminishing anybody. It's not disrespecting anybody. It's like they could do a little bit better, and I know with time they will get there. So
Hmm.
Jean Paul, one of the feuds that like has been the most important thing in professional wrestling right now, it's been Cody Rhodes and his former apprentice MJF. And this is the match we're going to talk about right now, because this match almost didn't happen. It was so many stipulations for this match to happen. Of course, they had to do that. They had to give up to that. But the match turned out to be absolutely outstanding. I will say, though, the quality of the match, maybe not too much,
Yeah,
but the storytelling was the main theme.
yeah, and this is like Cody had fantastic matches, and I got to go into history because everybody knows Jean Paul loves the history. Cody had matches with guys like Darby Allin, matches with guys like Sammy Guevara. All these matches, like you see guys like that Cody's in. People are like, "Oh, this match was legit. This was legit." Those guys, Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, guys like that are extremely good, fast-paced, talented. Guys like that, exciting to watch in the ring. Cody's not. And he has the great spots when he cuts himself open, the crazy moonsault. He's willing to sacrifice anything for the sake of the fans, and that you got to do the Friday Night SmackDown John Cena tip your hat to him. But he's not exciting in the ring. So when you put him with another guy who's similar to him, an MJF, that's to me why I like this match. Like we said, it was the pacing. It was a little slow. They had the storytelling, but just the in-ring stuff was like a little boring, I would say.
It was like when you go to the outside, it just seems like you gotta like go to like outside resources to you, so you tell your story, and that's pretty much what happened. Like Cody came out with Brandy, he came out with Arn Anderson, he came out with everybody that are supporting him. Of course, MJF came out with Wardlow, so you will see how like you thought that they were going to play a factor, and they did.
Yeah.
And so the one good thing is that we got to see a little bit of blood, because MJF got busted open. And see, that's important for me, because a feud this important, a feud this meaningful, you had to add juice.
But this is another thing I say. The feud is not over until the babyface wins. The babyface did not win here. So, what's your opinion on, should MJF have bled if the feud wasn't over? It should have been Cody who bled.
I don't mind it.
I always think like it, because if you're gonna have that visual of, because I mean he didn't bleed like a paper cut. This dude, he was like Carnage from Spider-Man red. He had red all down his forehead. It was bad. He cut him. It was like Eddie Guerrero, not almost like Eddie Guerrero bad, or JBL that match. You know what I mean? It was bad. Yeah. So
he has to learn how to blade himself.
Yeah. It was like, unless it was a realistic looking blood packet, I don't know, but normally they're pretty fake looking.
Yes.
Like I was like, you usually do that in where a babyface wins. I was like, oh, MJF is done, and he wasn't. So it's like, are you gonna have him bleed then when he loses? Hopefully.
I didn't mind it as much, just because like to me it feels like this. Then you need to add juice. For example, many times when Triple H would lose, also he'll be, but like pretty much like really, really like busted open, like Eddie Guerrero in that match with JBL. He bled like nobody, and then he lost that match. So I will say like that to me is, I didn't mind it at all. But like you're saying, the feud is going to continue. So they know that they have something really good and real here. So of course they're going to prolong it, and they had to go to the resources of the outside. Brandy tried to do a crossbody onto Wardlow. Wardlow caught her, and then Cody ends up like hitting Arn Anderson with a super kick. So those were like the outside interference factors of it. Cody hit 2 crossroads, and he's about to win it. And then MJF actually uses his ring. The ring that he won in the Battle Royale.
The Dynamite Diamond Ring, whatever it's called.
The Dynamite Diamond Ring. He nails it with that, and MJF ends up getting the win. I think that like the match, like you said, maybe not the greatest match in paper, when it comes to wrestling ability. Oh yeah, he did the Cody Cutter. No, he didn't do for any of that. Even like the disaster kick he couldn't hit, because MJF, what are you trying to say with this? MJF knows the moveset. So he can counter. He's been scouting all of that, so he knows.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think that like the feud's going to carry on. MJF is going to be on Dynamite this Wednesday. Is going to be pretty much trashing Cody from top to bottom, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and before like the end sequence, you got to like MJF, he's crying. He's like, oh, Cody, he give me forgiveness, and he goes to embrace him and everything, and like you gotta love that, where it's like he got his ass beat down and he had to resort to being like a sniveling little baby And then, to turn on Cody, spits in his face, and it's like that's the one. And then he wins. Like that's like what I love. I love when the heel wins and like in this fashion, because then it just continues the feud. And then when Cody eventually does win, he'll be like
Oh yeah, like,
yeah,
and
he'll be
especially for
yeah.
example, like at the beginning of the match when MJF come and goes out, and he's like giving everybody the finger, and it's like everybody's coward, and then he grabs one of the drinks for somebody in the crowd and then throws it at him. So MJF plays his character like nobody else. He knows how to sell himself. He's like somebody that at least is going as the same speed as MJF. I would say Randy Orton, but Randy Orton's been doing this for how long?
I would say
But
he was
MJF,
yeah. He's like the Miz. If you turn like the Miz right now on the dial is at like a 2. He's like if you turn the Miz up to like a 10.
oh yeah, like a
Like
10
like
or
I'm
so. Absolutely.
like I'm rich. I'm good looking. I have money. I'm better than you. All that
Exactly.
stuff.
Exactly. So, excellent match, I would say, in the storytelling. And now we go to a match that, like, I thought that, like, this match was going to be before the Cody match, but it ended to be after. And maybe they did this just because to get the crowd pumped up again. Or, like,
Yeah,
hey, it's like, hey, they're kind of tired. Hey, the ones that are still good, enjoy this. The ones that are not, that
and you know
tired,
what?
hey, take a break.
This could have been a backstage thing where they were like, all right, let's, we had the tag team match. All right, legit. Women go out there and they're like, oh shit, the crowd is dead. And then maybe they were like, all right, because we can't do Cody and then the main event. We got to have something between Cody and the main event.
Yes.
So then they're not
Yes.
dead for the main event.
Yes.
So then
And
that's
that's
maybe why they put this match in there.
yeah, and that's the debut of Freshly Squeezed.
Freshly
I really love
squeezed.
it. Freshly Squeezed, Orange Cassidy going against a freaking bastard in the person of Pac.
Yeah.
So
And
this
this
feud was
match,
put together in a few weeks, not too long. Go ahead.
yeah, 1 week. I was gonna say just 1 week, last week. But this
So
match, it was good just to see Orange Cassidy because it was cool for him because the right person won in this match, and it was also good because with Orange Cassidy, the crowd wanted to see him wrestle. He'd always come in the gimmicks. He would do the big dive onto everybody with his hands still in his pockets, or he would do like the trust fall from the top rope, fall backwards. They'd all catch him. And we never really saw him wrestle. And I think this was just like a treat to the fans. Like, yeah, we're going to give you Orange Cassidy. But I mean, there was some storytelling in this match, though,
oh yeah, it was,
at
and
the
see
end of
like
it. So, like, and there was story, to continue on. We got to see our boys. So take us through it.
oh yeah, like it was a good match, like you said. Orange Cassidy showcase his ability, something that he hasn't been able to do, and also Pac gets a win, and he needed that. He
Yeah.
needed that because of the situation that happened with Kenny Omega. Losing the Iron Man match put him all the way down and all the way back in the line. So
Hmm.
with this, he actually goes in the line a little bit further.
Hmm.
So we're gonna go to like Jean Paul said, some aspects. Trent grabs Pac on the ramp and tosses him back, and Orange hits the air pack crash on Pac, and then he kicks out. So you could see like Orange Cassidy has so much to tell in the story because he's a really good wrestler. Even
Hmm.
I was surprised of how good he is. Oh,
Yeah.
because even like most of his moves, he has his hands in his pockets.
Yeah.
So extremely
Exactly.
great. And then something happened that Jean Paul pretty much popped because that was like the main thing for Jean Paul. The Lucha Bros ran out and hit Trent with super kicks on the ramp, and then Taylor slides into the ring and dives over the ropes with a somersault plancha onto Pentagon and Phoenix, and they all fight to the back. But in the ring, Pac slams Cassidy down and locks the brutalizer until he passes out. So you can see the new feud for the Lucha Bros, and that's
Hmm.
very important because the Lucha Bros like miss this pay per view, and that's
Me
to me
this
that's not fair for them.
And I know because the best friends are guys who you said you would like to see them in tag team contention just because it would be somebody new. So to
Yes,
me, this number one contenders feud right here. I don't know. Now it's only a month away, so you could easily stretch it to then. But then the tag team titles they wouldn't really be defended. So maybe you do something in the next week or two, and then the winner of this faces Kenny and Omega at Blood and Guts. To me, I know you like the best friends, but the Lucha Bros. That's who
the
I want to
Cero
see at,
Miedo.
at Blood and Guts. That's who I want to see. Go against Kenny and Hangman. Take the belts away from them and you know get that story going, or even the best friends. Even if the best friends get it, that would be cool too.
I
You
wouldn't
know,
mind if the best friends are the team, like they're I
or
don't mind
or
whichever.
you know what? Or I don't even care if the Hangman and Kenny retain. Just
That's what.
I would just love to see that match. Just do something
That's
with it. But it's exciting to see. And we said the Lucha Bros, they at least got a little bit of a pay-per-view payday. They
that's
showed
true.
up and it was legit.
They got 25% of everybody else's check.
Yep.
So, Jean Paul, it's main event time. AEW World Heavyweight Championship match. Le Champion Chris Jericho with Santana and Ortiz from the Inner Circle defending against not Jean Paul, John Moxley. So, Jean Paul, the best thing for me, I wouldn't even say the match for me wasn't as grandiose like everybody would have said it, but the choir singing Judas.
Oh
When you
my God.
sent this situation to me, you saw me, I was almost in tears. I was like completely excited, blown away because I love, we both love music. And when you do music, you mix it with like other of my passions, professional wrestling. I'm just, I'm a happy person. And, that's the best entrance.
And that's the one thing. That's the one thing we failed to mention, and there was probably a good reason for it. Cody had his theme played live too.
Oh yes, it is true.
And you know what? And that was I'd rather listen. Put the CD in and press play. That sounds better than live, I will say. And no offense to Jericho, but that, like you said, this choir singing his theme for having him coming out like gives you chills. Imagine being there. That would have been.
Oh yeah. It would have been awesome because it's been done before, yes, because even NXT did it. Triple H, of course, introduced this Bobby Roode. They did it with Glorious. But see, it shows you what you can do with music. It shows you the attention to it. Shows you how much you can make the story evolve.
And you know what? I'm not saying it'll be the last time he ever holds the belt, but, he was dropping it tonight. So what better way to go out?
Exactly. Excellent, Jean Paul. And he comes out. Well, Moxley came out all the way from. I think he was just getting into the building.
Yeah, he came out. Yeah, there was probably a bar across the street. He just pounded a shot and was like, "All right, I got to wrestle."
He's like, "Rob Van Dam, you told me the stories." Yeah, you told me the stories about Rob Van Dam.
They're like, "Isn't that your theme playing over there?" And he was like, he lifted up his eye patch and he's like, "Oh shit!" Puts it back down. I better go.
Oh shit! I gotta go. I'll see you, dude. And so yeah, he comes out. The match, like I said, paceful though, very paceful because this is the kind of matches that you're gonna get from Jericho right now. He can go like 100%, 100 miles an hour anymore, but you get a cool story. You get spot every now and then. You get outside. You get like he got like the camera from the cameraman, and then he gave Moxley the bird.
Yeah. Yeah, he's completely like Jericho, like you said, he works his pace. Ever since he left WWE, went to New Japan, that's just the pace he works, and he's bringing that to AEW. And I like that pace, though. Why should he have to go 100 miles an hour to make the fans happy? He doesn't care about the fans. They're a bunch of stupid idiots. You know what I mean? They're ugly morons, and he's Le Champion, so he can do what he wants. And like that's the one thing you like because he keeps it all 100%, storytelling. And before that, like I just loved how they showed John Moxley. He was training with Randy Couture and all this other stuff to like, anytime
how to escape from the walls of Jericho.
Yeah, and how to escape. They're like, always move your feet. If you're on your back, always keep your feet kicking. It's harder for him to grab your feet and this and that. And then they cut to Jericho, and he's like, Randy Couture's a stupid idiot. I probably beat him up in a bar fight in Las Vegas. He's a big-headed moron. He's like, he's a loser. Exactly. He's an asshole. And it's like, that's what you gotta love Jericho. You could say something to him, be like, cut a promo on this person. He don't even know you. He'll be like, yeah, look at you. And he cuts an amazing promo.
Yeah, and that's what Le Champion does. And I mean, I'm a little hurt, but like I understand why they did it. And like you said, the storyline was right there. And Jericho, I think he's getting a break from now. I think we'll see him in this upcoming Dynamite, and that will be.
Well, what did you tell me? Fozzy was touring. You said about buying tickets. So what does that tell you? He wants to go back to touring.
And see, that's the thing is like I really appreciate how like he and Fozzy they understand him. They're like, okay, well, do your thing, and then hey, but don't forget about us. Let's do this. So the match was again really, really great. Of course, there was interference from the Inner Circle. Jack Hager tried to interfere, and Sammy Guevara, Santana, and Ortiz. But then your girl went like, she kicked them out. She went like,
That's the one thing I said. I like, refs. The refs are like really involved in these matches, and sometimes I'm like, okay, it's legit, and then other times it's like they said, like Audrey Edwards was just yelling at them, which I mean, the ref shouldn't have any fear because it's like, hey, I'm the ref. Like that's like a teacher and like a principal. If a kid hits a principal, the kid's done. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So like it's like, hey, you can't yell at me, you can't hit me, and so that's why I guess they have no fear. I guess I'm just used to the WWE refs that are like, so.
Yeah. So like he's like, oh,
But
I
yeah,
don't
so
know.
but she kicked them all out, and I wish you would have saw something. I mean, this I guess would have only made sense if Le Champion was going to retain, but she should have been yelling at the three of them, and then Moxley should have had his back turned, like he should have been facing the same way, and then from the other way through the crowd, jumps over the barricade. Jeff Cobb, Tour of the Islands, Judas Effect, and done.
Yes. That
You
would
know
have
what I
been a
mean?
really great
But
ending.
but that would have been if but Jericho wasn't supposed to retain, so like you said,
Exactly.
she sends him to the back, and then take us
And
through.
then we're gonna walk you through the spots. Moxley's bleeding again because, of course, Le Champion got him like he hit him with a chair. He hit him also like he put him through like the where they keep the bell, where they
Yeah.
keep the timekeeper and everything. So as the two of them trade shots, Moxley builds a head of steam, but Jericho gouges his good eye. So Jericho kicks Moxley down. That they taunt him because he can see, but John sings with wild punches like he's tried like to sell that. He's like I only
Yeah.
have one good eye. So then Jericho drills him with a punch, but then Jericho climbs to the middle rope and pulls his knee pad down to hit a knee drop to the face, and then Jericho lands up to the Judas effect, but Moxley ducks in and hits the paradigm shift, but he cannot see to make the pinfall. So they keep selling that story. Even
Mm.
before that, they hit him with a cord breaker, but then I don't know why they're not allowed to say cord breaker.
Yeah, like we said, maybe WWE has it copyrighted because they're
Yeah,
bullshit.
that's
But
kind of like weird that they will do that. He tries for the holds of Jericho. He hit the walls of Jericho, but not a little. He didn't put a lot of pressure. He did the Lion Soul, so very good. And then
hmm
Moxley pretty much sells the injury, and he lifts the iPad, and he's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Whee!
I'm good. It's been
Yeah,
good."
he was like, I'll never take him off.
No, no, you don't have to do it. Like no one can see your really like how your eyes look. But Moxley removes the eye patch and reveals that he can actually see. He's been just taunting Jericho. He's been fooling everybody. And then Moxley hears the paradigm shift once again, and we have a brand new AEW World Heavyweight Champion in the
Mm.
person of John Moxley. Like I said, good match. But to me, the biggest outtake from this is the promo after the match.
Yeah, and the one thing is, I do like how Moxley had to hit two paradigm shifts, though. I mean, he didn't
Yes,
make he was still selling the eye injury, but at least he hit the finisher twice. It
yes.
wasn't like one spear and done.
Yes. Well, for the ones, we know about the spear because we have spear versus spear at WrestleMania 36. Nobody's really happy about that. And at least Moxley had to earn a title shot rather than just go on SmackDown and say, I'm next. So,
Yep.
the next time when Robert goes to the Elimination Chamber, we're going to go to John Morrison and The Miz, and we're going to go, we're next. And we get a
Yep.
title shot for
Yep. And it's
WrestleMania.
booked. And you'll see the WrestleMania. Kevin Dunn already has it done. The WrestleMania card promo picture. So
Yeah, you'll see like the whole thing, and we are like, we were like against Morrison and the Miz.
yep.
So then John grabbed the microphone and he says that he loves this shit. He's like, man, I love this shit. He says it's been one hell of a long road, whole this past year, but it hasn't. But this isn't his title. This title belongs to every single fan of AEW. The fans are the fuel that run the company. He said about a year ago they said that they were bringing pro wrestling back, and he used that term pro wrestling.
Yeah,
Is
it's
the
not sports entertainment bullshit.
deck to the fans, and that's what they done. And this title belongs to every single fan in Chicago, in Reading, PA, in Kutztown, PA, and the
Mm.
fans who have been with him since the beginning. He says that there isn't much left to say, but it feels like a bureau clock. And then I think they start playing his music, and he's like, hold on, I'm not
Yeah,
done.
yeah, he even
Every,
said he was like, "What the fuck?"
yeah, he's like, what? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, what the fuck? He's like, I'm not done. Hold on, let me celebrate here. So they start to play. Yeah, he said, and then Moxley says he doesn't plan to hide behind the bell, but right now it's time to drink some whiskey, and he leaves through the crowd. And
hmm
then we know that Renee Young was there, so she was there backstage,
Yeah,
and it's
she
funny
even
that
I saw.
she
I was just
holds the
gonna.
show backstage. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I posted a picture on Instagram when he was up on the turnbuckle holding the belt.
and she's the
Said,
champ.
yeah, and that was a legit picture. I thought.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, and then see you appreciate your wife supporting
Mhm.
you,
And
and
that's the
that's
one
what,
thing, and I hope, and WWE's not dumb. There's cronies, goons, whatever you want to call it out there. They're like, oh, Renee Young posted this picture. But I hope Triple H, Vince McMahon, all them, they're like, you know what? Renee has been with us for how many years? She's legit. She's going to keep working for us. She does whatever we ask her to do, and they just let this go. Like, why be petty? Because like we
oh
said, with
yeah,
Vicky Guerrero, she had some people on her podcast from AEW. She's done.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's like, to me, that's petty, that's like
yeah.
childish. It's so stupid.
I will tell you though, like they will never do that to Renee Young, mainly because WWE loses Renee Young, they're losing more
That's
than
what I mean.
Renee you losing them. Because see,
Yeah,
remember, like there was a lot of talk of Renee Young going to ESPN.
yeah.
So like, and yeah, so she will be fine. I mean, the next day she'll have work.
Yeah, and
So
that's where I mean, I don't know what she's doing. Maybe she already said, but I could definitely see Kathy Kelly doing something like that, like ESPN or some kind of, yeah, or even just like I said, modeling, doing something.
exactly. So in the end, like we all see, we're all happy. See, that is some. We're
Mhm.
not in, our mood is not the same as like we just watch a Super Showdown
Yeah,
because
like
we
we said,
got to
there
see
was yeah.
something we love, we enjoy.
hmm Yeah, and even if you saw the Young Bucks match, and even if you were like a huge Bucks mark and you wanted them to win, it was still a legit match. And know, like this feud, it's done, but it's not really done. Like you said, none of these matches really made you like, oh, like none of them felt like Fiend versus Goldberg
Oh yeah,
or Lesnar versus Ricochet. Now we didn't expect Ricochet to win, but we didn't expect him to lose in 2 minutes and have zero offense. Like none of these matches, like even though the person you wanted to win might not have won, but you still went home happy. You still watched a fantastic pay-per-view. I do wish it didn't go until almost midnight. I wish it was over maybe at like 11, but it was still a fantastic show. I thought better than Full Gear.
it was. It was. I will say that, and that's the thing. We just gotta say thank you to AEW for bringing pro wrestling
Yep.
back.
I would say
So
it's not where it's obviously not where we want it to be. I don't mean AEW. I just mean pro wrestling as, something in, pop
as a whole,
culture, in the
as a whole,
media, you could say. It's nowhere. You always say like it's like the pop of 98 or whatever you want to call it, like where it was then. Everybody wearing Austin 316 shirts. It's nowhere near that, but it's on the right path. It's on the
yes,
up. And
yeah,
AEW, and if NXT was like a one rocket, AEW was like two or three rockets, and it's
yeah.
boosting it to the top because NXT was always there, but nobody knew about it. Now I feel because of AEW, more people probably know of NXT. Because you watch AEW, you hear people talking Wednesday Night Wars, and you're like, "What's that?" And you're like, "Oh, NXT," and also moving NXT to the USA Network. I'm sure that helped as well.
That gave them
But
a lot of
yeah,
exposure. Absolutely.
but a
So,
fantastic
guys, I think this wraps it up for us. I think we cover everything. We're very happy about this show. And we're not going to leave you guys before saying thank you once again. And please subscribe to
Yeah,
the channel.
if you haven't already, check out Monday Night Raw review with yours truly, Jean Paul Leek, and also AEW review. I do that as well, and we have the great NXT review and the bullshit SmackDown, but we do it every Sunday or Sunday, every Friday because we love you guys. And also, if you have an Outbreak Wrestling Symphony of Chaos 2, check that out. That was legit. Like we said, we cover all the main stuff, but we love indie wrestling just as much because where do these guys come from? They don't make them out of a machine. I mean, even though Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair look like it, but you got, these guys come from independent wrestling. That's how they move up. So that's why we love covering it.
Absolutely. So please, guys, subscribe, turn on the bell for all the notifications because, like Jean Paul was saying, we have tons of content for you. Find us on the social media platforms. We're there. Every single media platform, we're there. So, in the name of Jean Paul and myself, I want to say thank you. We'll be back for more Monday Night Raw
Yep.
with Jean Paul Leek. So, in the name of him and myself, we want to say.
Uh,